Hey guys, Sumit here from Namli. We've been exploring ways to bring you better content that's relevant and bite sized so it's easier to consume. So I teamed up to launch this new vlog series called Just One Thing, JOT for short. And I'm excited to share that I teamed up with the one and only, wait for it. This is my attempt at suspense music. Well, it's none other than Thomas Plummer. As many of you know, Tom has been shaping the fitness business landscape for over 40 years now through workshops, talks, speaking assignments, and he's worked with thousands of fitness professionals across the globe. We're super excited about this, and I believe if you're a training gym, you'll get a lot of value out of this too. So go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think and share some topics that you would like us to cover in the future. All right? So, yeah, Tom, it's always a pleasure to have you. And since it's our very first episode, what is the one thing about the industry that you would want your viewers to know about?
Well, I love your format. So, but but 10 minutes, I'm laughing because you've been to my workshops. It takes me 2 days to make a point. So it's like 10 minutes. Okay, focus, go, focus, get it done. So the one thing in the gym business, I would have given you different answers at different stages of my career as I look at people. But looking at accumulation of decades of thousands of trying to help people survive this business, thrive in the business, create wealth, do the things in there, I'd say that I'm going to give you a 2-point answer. So I'm sneaking a second point in. It's one, you have to think about it as a business. And that is so dumbass obvious, but it's not what happens. Is people create a business and it becomes more like they created a job for themselves. They think as an employee, they work 50, 60 hours, 70 hours a week because they don't believe anybody else can do it like they do it. So they're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're home at 9 at night. They work Saturdays. Some of them work Sundays. They treat it as if they are an employee for somebody that's holding a whip over their head. Therefore they get caught. And then the second part of that is that mentality lives to a very limiting belief. I'm working with a guy, I've known him for a long time. I respect him immensely as an owner. He's a good family man. He just does a lot. But we've been together about 4 years now. And we were doing $20,000 a month in his gym. And in today's standard, people think, well, that's good. You're in the $25,000 club. And I tell guys, that's pathetic. That's your entry into the game. That's it's not something, it's a good start. It's a good foundation, but it's just nothing more than that. It's a starting point. So I'm working with this guy and we're talking 20 grand. He goes, yeah. He says, I'm kind of really there. And I'm looking at his business, his location, and I'm going, no, there's more here, more here, more here. And I said, 12 months from now, we're going to be doing $40,000 and a month. And no, that was it. No, in his head. And I said, let's do these things and see how they work. And I got to moving forward. And it took us about 14 months, but we got to 40 grand. And then a year after that, we're going into the third year, we're at 60 grand. And by the end of this year, we're probably going to break 83,000 a month, which is $1 million a year. So the biggest mistake they make is they go into this with the mindset that I'm just a high paid employee in my own business, but they bring limitations of what the potential of the business should be. So a lot of the mentorship groups, for example, they tout that $25,000 club. And again, that's an entry, but if you own a gym, you have to get out of your own way. And you have to start to see these as a business that you own, you can manipulate, you bring a team in, and your earning potential is probably 2, 3, 4 times what you believe it is. Every training gym has to go in with the mindset that within 24 months, this is going to be doing $83,000 a month. That's your thing. These gyms mature in about 18 months, where they usually get that nice steady flow, new clients coming in. But there's a little growth surge after that as the accumulation effect takes in of the receivables building. So your 24th month, between 18 and 24, I should be an $83,000 a month business. And then people go, no, not in my town, Tom. That's crazy. I'm the exception to the rule. No, you don't know my people. You don't know my town. I do know your town. I do know your people. I do know what you're doing. I do know thousands and thousands and thousands of gym owners. And the biggest mistake that you make is you. You're the limiter in your own business. This is not a job. This is a vehicle to create wealth over time. This is not something that you work 60 hours a week. If you're 45 years old and you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go train clients because you have to, not because you just love it, but because you have to, then you really have screwed up that business plan. So that self-limitation factor, plus the fact that we really don't understand these as business, but just an extension of the job world, that would be the biggest mistake.
Okay. So that's a lot there. So let me try to unpack what I just heard and tell me where I missed you. Big picture, get out of your own way. Think 3 to 4 times the money that you would imagine going in working for someone else. And in 18 to 24 months, you should be hitting 83,000 odd, which is $1 million a year, is what you should be targeting. And the gym business is a vehicle to create amazing wealth in the long term.
It should be. That's the mindset you should bring into the game. I was working with a guru. I've been very blessed. I've been able to work with a lot of the guys that own the things that teach it, perform better, and do those things. And this guy, a number of years ago, obviously he was a much younger man at the point, but he had just come off of some really tough times in his business and going through a tough period in his personal life. And his business was devastated. And I'm looking at this business going, oh my God, this is really potential. And I started working with him, and each month I talked to him. I mean, he got stuff done at a rate that was very rare. I mean, once he decided I'm going to do it, he was that type of person that just got it done, finished it, went forward with it. And we're sitting at this. I'm looking into this about a year in, and it's like, man, this is not just $1 million business. This is going to be, in 12 months from now, 18 months from now, this business, because I keep pounding the projections over and over and over with them, and I'm going, this business could touch $2 million a year in a training gym, and he did. Talented operator, earned every inch of his guru status. But he had a belief system issue when he started. He just couldn't believe that those numbers would exist in a business that he's already had been beaten in somewhat. But the good thing about him is he's a very intellectual person, very intelligent, he's just a doer. He gets stuff done. And when he got out of his own way, he started to grow the business. And he probably one of the first training gyms in the world that crossed $2 million and 7,500 feet. It was a phenomenal thing. So that bringing that to the table, it's that limiter, that ability to see your business as a business. And that's kind of the downside of who we are in this business, is most people in here are so passionate about it that I'm going to change the world, but I'm going to do it one sweaty client at a time. And they don't step aside and say, look, I've got to create a vehicle that can create change with the team, because I can touch more people. I can manage more than I can do myself. And that's one of the basic rules you learn in, first year freshman business in college. You manage more than you do yourself. That's just logical, but it's not to a gym owner, because oh my God, nobody trains like I do. And all my clients would quit if I, shifted over now, and they're here because I'm a one-on-one God, and they would all leave me. And none of that's true. You can keep, but if you're training over 5, maybe 10 hours a week in your own gym, you're a mess, because there's no out. Now you have to start that way, but 18 months, if you're still doing it, and some guys just love it, and I'm a coach. I'll make 60 grand a year. That's more money than I've ever made. I've got my own business. I got status. I go to the mentorship and party with the guys, and I do all that type of stuff. That's fine if that's you, but make sure that is you, because I will tell you when that's fine when you're 27 years old. When you're 37 years old and you've got two kids and a big mortgage and you're looking at, I'm getting tired, my body's getting tired, I don't know if I can continue this pace. It'd be nice to have a different mindset and a little more money in the bank. So every trainer arrives at that point. You don't need money until you need it. There's that point where you wake up one day and you go, I at this point in my life, I need money and I own a gym. Why is this not the source of my income? Because you never let it be. You took a wrong approach. You thought it as a hobby. You thought it as a job. You're working your butt off for a tough boss, who won't let you take a day off, who won't give you a vacation, will never give you a raise. So you're working $70 hours a week and making $18 an hour, $15 an hour average, $12 an hour average, because you bought yourself a job. So what do I own? I own a business. It's a business. That's the operative word. What does a business do? It should create wealth for the people that own it. And over time, it has to be sold. Eventually, every gym in the world will sell or close. Every gym in the world will go away. And at some point, I have to control my own fate. In that meantime, between here, I started, and here, when I someday sell it, I have to create enough wealth to take care of myself and my family beyond this. And I ask a lot of coaches, imagine your back goes out and you can't train for 3 months. What happens? And most of them say, I'll lose my business. I don't have enough backup. I don't have enough people. One of my guys got the virus this year and he missed 3 weeks of work, and the gym in his state could operate, but it really is him. He shut down for 3 weeks, lost all his income, lost all his revenue because there was no backup. And this guy's pushing 50 and he's the product in his own gym. And that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
Just from a context perspective, Tom, when you talk about million a year and getting to within 18 to 24 months, what's the square footage you're looking at? Because we're going to have listeners across the board, micro gyms, boutique gyms as they're called, training gyms, just too many verbiages out there. So just to provide that context, what's the square footage?
You can safely say 3,500 and up, but I'm seeing gyms now that if they're set up properly and you're in those major markets, that you can run 1,500 feet, 1,800 feet, 2,200 feet and still chase $1 million. It doesn't take, because of the eliteness of training. The market has changed. The world has changed. The gym market has changed forever with the virus. But that if I build a business for the top 40% of the people in my market by affluence, then if I have 1,500 feet and have a couple hundred clients paying me $300 to $400 a month, I'm sitting on $1 million.
Fair enough. I think this is going to be a great wrap, and maybe for our next session and next episode, we should talk a little bit more about what does $1 million really mean from a profitability perspective. How much, you went a little bit into the income and expenses. So let's talk a little bit more about that.